Okay, can you guys see it's recording? All right. Let me share my screen. This is our agenda for tonight. So first off, we would allow Asma from ISE to present about international student engagement and all their services they have provided with us international students. So Asma, oh, is she here? I think she got disconnected. Okay, she is rejoining. Oh no. Okay, Asma. Okay, you can present about ISE tonight. The mic is yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, but let me share my screen. Yeah. I think that's better. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. Okay, we got it.
Sorry, my internet is a bit slow. It kicked me out of the Zoom before too. I'm so glad that I can rejoin. So I would like to say a warm welcome to every single one of our students and our great alumni. And before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the people of the Kulin Nation on whose land we are gathered today. I pay my respect to their past, present, and their elders. With the remote working and our online sessions, we may be based by elsewhere or even interstate. So we pay our respects to traditional owners of the land from wherever you are, maybe joining us from to this evening. To tell you more about us, let me introduce you to the ISE. ISE is a team including Param, Hannah, Ibrahim, James, and Jude. You might hear from us here and there. We're part of a student success and transformation team, including part of Amanash Connects. This is how you can connect with us using our email address or contacting us directly. To tell you more of what we do and what we can support is that we're here for you from your pre-commencement and then from through your educations and beyond. Our support is confidential and it's inclusive to everyone. We do a heavy lift of case management and support our students throughout their state with their visa status issues and those things. However, we work on a specific cohort such as under 18-year-old students, a humanitarian scholarship holder supports students, and then also student with families. So as a part of that project, we are providing major social events programs, pregnancy and health programs events too. So that's all about us. If you do have any questions within that period, please do not hesitate to raise your hand because after all, I'm here to answer those questions. But now let's talk about the programs and activities and the supports that are available for us as students. I would like to highlight and start with our events that we are providing. As part of our project, we are holding transition programs to welcome our students to have a smooth running study periods with us. We have got orientation programs, and fortunately during the COVID-19, we couldn't have that face-to-face. We couldn't meet our students during our workshop, so we missed it. However, we had a major great Zoom and online sessions, including Conquer Your Classes, Guide to Uni, Life in Melbourne. Students, you might hear from us time to time using our student newsletters that we can introduce our programs to you. So please do not skip those emails. Those are very important. And then also we're here for you to support you if you would like to talk to someone or would like to hear more about the supports. So let's talk about how you can be engaged with university more, how to learn more skills. So to talk about that, let me introduce you to Monash Global Ambassadors Program. If you could, in our screen, I can see if any of you heard about this program. Could you please just put a thumbs up? No? Oh, amazing. I see one thumbs up. That's great. Oh, thank you so much for being part of this question. Monash Global Ambassador Program is a program to boost up the leadership skills, help to build and connect with the community, especially at Monash University. It's open to all students, so you can join. And then also, while joining, you can connect with the new students and then work on special programs. What I love about this is because this is a great opportunity for our students to boost their employability skills, because after all, teamwork and those skills are very crucial for our future. This is a bit of what you can get at the end, a Monash certificate and a reference letter for certain roles. But you will gain more than these outlines from this program. Who is new in Australia? This is a bit of awkward questions. If you don't feel like answering, it's absolutely fine. But what I want to highlight is that you have to know about your rental rights and accommodation supports. I say that from experience. I didn't read those contracts and I skipped it and I signed that, but I was in trouble at the end. So I highly encourage you to just have an appointment with MRS off-campus services and reach out to them. Contact them if you have got any questions. They're always there to support you. And then also read these websites. We will send these slides to you when we finish. So these QR codes are extremely handy. But if you have got further questions about these things, you can ask us and then we will guide you to the right supports too. If I'm going too fast, please do let me know and I'll just slow a bit. But I'm so cautious of the time at this stage. We do have great finishing uni guides, including graduation, moving out, staying in Australia, future studies, and career plannings. So you can access all those workshops online by using these QR codes. Those workshops and online tools are extremely important because it gives you an insight of what will future looks like. And it will guide you to the right pathway that you think is the best for you. Oh, this is a hot topic, graduation, because it's approaching very soon, and then visa advices. We cannot give you visa advices with our capacities and our rights. However, what we can do is to guide you to the right support services that are available. However, if you do have your special agents, please make sure that they are registered agents, and please don't get those advices from a known person. Please make sure that they are right person for your situations. And if you come across any issues, and if you need enrollment verification, proof of completion letters, or even if you're not sure about web enrollment systems, you can simply ask and call this number. Monash Connect is the right portal to ask about the letters, so you can actually make a quick inquiry via Monash Connect. And if you have got any issue throughout that process, you can contact us on that time. Career Connects. Just a thumbs up. Let's do that activity for the last round. Who has got a very, very updated resume at this stage? That's good. I can see hands. Can I know the exact date when you have a look at your resume and updated it?
I would say just last week.
Great, that's great.
And then
Anyone else? Tam?
yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah, I just updated last week because I have that routine that I'll spend like 1 or 2 hours per week just to like reflect back on my resumes, like my skills and stuff like that. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I ask these questions because it's very important to have updated resume and cover letters for specific roles that we want to apply. However, to make sure that we optimizes our success for those enrollments and those roles, we can actually use portals and the workshops available for us via Career Connects. Career Connects has got online workshops to check, and also that you can actually book a consultation with them to have feedback for your resumes and cover letters. However, you can get an in-depth resume check within 24 hours with their systems too, which is amazing, and it's very crucial for students at this stage too. So I highly recommend them because it's from my personal story that came up. I did it, and it actually, I was hoping that I could show you, but unfortunately I had difficulties at the start of these sessions. But you can do it shows a graph of where your resume is at and how you can improve your resume in the future too. So please make use of those portals and those opportunities to boost up your resume and cover letter in the meantime too. I am so sorry that I got so fast, but this is all about us and that we can do. If you have got any questions or any concern, please do not hesitate to contact us, and please make sure that you don't ask us late too. We're always here to support you, and that's us.
Thank you so much, Asma. I know ISE International Student Engagement is a very nice service, amazing service, and on behalf of MUISS and all of us international students, we would like to thank you. We definitely cannot thank you enough for all of your help and services you've provided us with.
Not to mention at all, because after all, we are here for students, and then our success of our student is our main priority and our goals.
Thank you so much, Asma. Now, today we have our 5 amazing alumni. We've got Helena, Anushka, Tammy, Audrey, and also Jason. They're both from either education or science. And tonight we would first pass on to Helena, our first alumni. And whenever you're ready, Helena, you can share your screen and the mic is yours.
Yes. No problem. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to meet everybody. I'm Helene, and I will share my screen. There we go. Can everybody see my screen? Yes, awesome. All right. Oops. All right, I was starting with a brief introduction of myself. My name is Helene Chen, and I'm actually currently situated in Melbourne. I graduated from Monash with my Bachelor of Education Honours in Early Years and Primary Education in 2019, so which is 2 years ago. And now I'm an early childhood teacher and an early childhood mentor to helping provisional teachers getting their full registration as well. And I'm also a Chinese school teacher with the junior school levels students. And I will starting with my journey from my study to work. When I graduated from Monash, that I just mentioned, on 2019, and during my studies, I was very actively working in both China and Australia in primary and early childhood sectors. I was doing some volunteers, I was doing some casual jobs in and some part-time jobs in both sectors. And then when I graduate, probably right after my graduation, I got my first job as the early childhood teacher, and I started working full-time. And then after around 1 year, or probably 1.5, and I left my first job and got promoted as a mentor and moved on to a sectional kinder in Vermont, Eastmont Preschool. Yeah, and then just this first half year, I finished my graduate certificate of educational research. So now I'm on my way to apply my PhD at Monash. All right, I was starting with some prepared questions. So I'm talking about the challenge first. That's, I will say, at the very beginning, the challenge for me as an international student and step into the work in Australia would be the work-life balance. When I just graduated, I was full of very different, fresh ideas that I want to apply into my educational practice. And I want to do everything by myself. I feel like I couldn't ask my assistant for help. I need to try it, do it by myself. And then I find it all my life, all my time would be diving into the work, right? I don't have my own time. And then I had a big conversation with my assistant. We were talking about how we can sorting out the basic task and how we should giving us our own time, be spending more time, interaction time with children rather than spending on paperwork. And at that time, after our discussion, we were our work will becoming more efficiently, and we do promise ourselves that we're getting some entertaining time and some family time in our own time rather than always working. So I will say that's my biggest challenge, especially in my first year. And then talking about my experience as a Monash student will be, that was a very lovely experience that I got to go to different placement and meeting all different friends from all different countries. And I think Monash was very concentrating on helping people from different cultures and how to include everybody in a different activity and helping us settle in Melbourne, which was really lovely. I think at that time, I feel like I'm being included, even though I was an international student. And I will have to say the amazing facilities that Monash prepared for me, because at the beginning, I was situated in Peninsula campus, which is very far away, that I was afraid, I need to go that far away. That's probably there will be no friends, there will be no convenience facilitate for me to use, and I don't know how to drive at the time. But Monash does provide us a lot of like shuttle bus, security helps, and I like the library, I have to say. And a touching memory when I was a student, I will say that will be my last placement in the primary school. That's my students and my mentor prepared me a present. Each of them drew a picture of me and talking about what they think of me and what they hope me to become, because they know that that will be my last placement. I probably won't see them any in the future, but it was really lovely. And some of the parents are also very lovely to send me some letters. And yeah, I was very, and my mentors there are getting in touch with me a lot and sharing some advice and sharing some teaching experiences that she checking in with me, see how I goes in the remote teaching, which was really nice as well. And we made a really good relationship. And the biggest inspiration, I will say it will be one of my lecturer from Monash. She has really similar background like me. We're both coming from China, and we were international students when we the first 2 years working. And because she has so big passion about early childhood, and she always say to us, if you want to go for teaching, which means you'll never stop to learn. And that was really inspired me to spend my time with the children and getting along with them and getting my experience. And then I think it's time for me to get on to the next level for research and spending my passion and helping the children more. And if I go back to when I was a student in Monash, I will tell myself, spending more time on planning, to plan ahead, thinking ahead, especially during the mid-semester or end of the semester. Even though education doesn't have many exams, but we do got a lot of assignments, quiz, and presentations to do. So I will always think, if I plan ahead, I'm probably gonna get better marks and better achievements maybe. And also I will say, encourage myself to step into the industry as early as possible, because early childhood is a little bit different. That when you start your bachelor, the first year, actually you can start to work as an educator. You probably won't be a teacher, but you will be starting as an educator and step into that industry and getting to know how the industry works, how the children's routine will be, what the planning looks like. It's really, really helpful. And actually getting paid, even though you're working as an educator, which is really lovely, I will say. So that's the biggest two things I will tell myself if I wasn't a student earlier. And the last sentence, I will, because these 2 years has been a really roller coaster for us. We have to switch our face-to-face teaching to a lot of remote learning. In early years, it's a bit harder that we have very little children that they might not really familiar with seeing the teachers from the computers. But you might also afraid that next year when you're going to the industry that I'm not sure about all those technology, remote teaching things, what can I do? But all you're experiencing now, it's very good that you can take in notes of them, what kind of platform you're using, what kind of strategy you're using. Because when I was at Monash, I didn't have any chance to do remote learning. That's all my class was face-to-face. But now I had a lot of my friends, they engaging in the remote teaching, remote learning from Monash. They do get a lot of experience to trying on all different new technologies or techniques. They might use it in their future teaching. So, and I believe your 21st century skills will really give you a lot of advantage to helping you to step up to shine up in the interview process, because a lot of people might not know what the remote teaching look like, but you're from that background, you'll definitely do really good. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Helene. Amazing presentation from you guys. It's very insightful. And by the way, for any of you guys, if you've got any questions either for the ISE or the alumni, you can pop it up in the chat, or also stay back for the end of the event to have a Q&A session with all of us. And next up, I would pass the mic to Jason, also from the education faculty. And yep, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you so much, Jocelyn.
Yep.
Okay, do you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Is it on?
We can see
Cool.
it.
Okay, hi everyone, greeting from Indonesia. First of all, I would like to thank MUISS and all of the committee for this opportunity. My name is Yason. Currently, I live in Indonesia. Okay, let me continue. So I graduated from Master of Education, Monash, and now I work as the head of Early Childhood Education Program in Independent Student Schools, or we call it SMM in Indonesia. So since it is an education and science night, I hope you don't mind if I share a little bit about the project that I'm doing. Let me give you a simple illustration. Maybe some of you are familiar with Anytime Fitness. Does anyone know about it? Have you ever heard about it maybe? Okay, so if you take their membership, you have the access to their gym in Melbourne, in Sydney, or even outside Australia. So you can stay in shape wherever you are. And whenever you have the mood to do the workout. So can you imagine if that concept is also adopted in the school system? So basically, that's what we're doing in SMM. SMM is an innovative school where students can learn anytime and anywhere. With the advantage of our technology, students have flexibility to study through online and also offline. So far, we have reached students and also teachers from more than 80 cities in Indonesia and 6 countries outside Indonesia. Wow. So let me pause a little bit there. And I would like to invite you to do a short guessing game, guys. So please write your guess in the chat. So the quiz is like this. So in July 2020, last year, we just opened our brand new school. We only have 60 students, okay? And in December 2020, we have 170 students. Okay, now please do your guessing, guys. Today, in September 2021, how many students do you think that we have? Any number are accepted. July, we have 60. December, we have 170. Wow, thank you, Jane. 2,000. Mateo, 500. Jesslyn, more than 1,000. Great. Anna, thank you. Helen, Elaine, 500. Thank you so much, guys. So basically, let me spill the answer. So in today, in September 2021, we already have, let me just write the number for you in the chat. We have more than 5,381 students, guys. So this new method quite proven, especially during this pandemic time. Many students, many parents are involved in this new project. So I'm really excited about it to share with you, and I hope that maybe one day we can collaborate in this new project and we can reach more students. Okay, so in short, we are trying to transform Indonesian education through technologies. So if you're interested and would like to collaborate more and want to know more about it, please feel free to get connected. I will share my LinkedIn account after this session. Okay, talking about career after study in Monash, I must mention my journey even before graduation. So when pandemic hit Australia in March 2020, I think, I lost my part-time job as an after-school educator. But then in March 2020 also, an employer called me and offered me a job to prepare the students in Jakarta, Indonesia, for remote learning. And it was the first time I got involved in SMM. Not so long after, in June 2020, I got another offer from another company called Clip. It was also an education startup, and I worked there as an educational content lead. While finishing my final paper in my final semester, I was so fortunate to have a double job. And yeah, if you can see it, like in July 2020, I graduate and I got my Master of Education degree. So both offers for me just came out of sudden. and without any application or resume sent to them. But I'm pretty sure that my profile became more interesting to the recruiter because of my status as a Monash student at that time. And moreover, like what Asma just introduced to all of the students here, I should also give the credit to Monash Career Connect, where they really taught me how to design my LinkedIn profile and my resume to look more outstanding than other candidates. So it's highly recommended, guys, for all of you. And also, I think for alumni, they also have Monash networking session for the alumni so that you can connect there and you can get also new friends, new opportunities, new network there. And in March 2021, I got promoted as the head of early childhood program at SMM. Okay, I will answer some of the questions given to me before by the committee. So talking about my role model and inspiration, I have to admit that my dad is my biggest inspiration. He's an active entrepreneur, but he also spent his free times to help others. He specifically helped many low-cost private schools in rural areas in Indonesia that are maybe near bankruptcy. I believe that his value and concern has embedded inside me and makes me also really passionate about education. And one of the interesting questions given also like this: if you were to go back in time to when you were a student in Monash, what would you tell yourself? I would say to myself, make more friends, especially international friends. Spend more time with them because I really realized today the network that you build will be more very valuable for you someday. So this community like today that we are attending will be a great place to start. Okay. And then to close my presentation, please allow me to share some encouragement for all of you. Alongside with this difficult time, I see a lot of opportunity are also opening, especially for students and fresh graduates. There were some paid online courses that are now offered for free. And networking and sharing session that used to be really formal, that you need a suit, you need a formal dress, and need more effort to travel, now can be accessed with more flexible. A lot of working in and internship opportunity across the world are also open in online now, which were impossible back then. So it's your chance to take as many advantage that you could today. So during this difficult time, I believe that you could find your way to not only survive, but also to thrive, that you can find the best opportunity and path for yourself and for your career. So this is my LinkedIn profile, guys, just like my name. I would like to invite you to get connected. We'll be really happy to discuss anything about education, about science, or any international opportunities that's connected. This is my LinkedIn profile, Yason Pranata. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yasan. Maybe you can also pop in that LinkedIn link profile to the chat so everyone can have easy access to it.
Sure, thank you, Jesslyn.
Yeah, it's an amazing journey from even a small job to even opening schools for providing kids with education and also the encouragement we definitely needed in this kind of time. Next up, we have Audrey from the science faculty. And you can start sharing your screen, Audrey.
I will do that. I'm keeping my presentation short. I'm sure it'll be more useful for more questions later. Is that someone's buzzing noise? All right, cool, no worries. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about how I got to where I am today and sort of, I'll take any questions that come along later because I feel like that'll be a lot more helpful to everyone who's watching. But I am Audrey, so I graduated from Monash doing a Bachelor of Science, double majoring in zoology and ecology before I continue on to do my honors as well at Monash. And now I'm a PhD candidate at the Australian National University. So I'm just gonna start with, it's just gonna be a bunch of pictures. So I started, I just have to click. I've been in Australia for a very long time. This is first year Audrey, probably 2015. And I'm one of those weird people who sort of entered Bachelor of Science knowing what I want to major in. So I already know that I was going to do zoology. I've always wanted to do zoology. It was why I went to Australia. And so, I really enjoyed the studies themselves. And sort of during second year is when I say I was really active at uni. Like I had a lot of energy there. I was involved in a lot of Monash, activities. I was a science ambassador for the Faculty of Science. I was part of MUISS for a long time. And, I was involved with the ISE people as well. So second year is when I do a lot of things and expend a lot of young energy, which I don't really have now. But other than that, I'm also involved in a lot of external volunteering, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. And third year, I really enjoyed science, and I sort of know that I wanted to do research. But third year, I also did a placement unit under the science faculty to sort of figure out whether, I want to go into industry. The answer is not really. But I really enjoyed the science part, and I did things like, when you want to know whether you want to do research or not, you kind of have to try it. And Monash has like third year subjects called, in science, it's called 3990 subjects, if you're familiar with it. And that's the research component. It's it's for a whole semester. You have a research component for one unit. But I was also involved in a lot of what they call summer research scholarships. So Monash has their own. So they have the winter and summer research scholarships for a couple of faculties, not just science. I don't remember exactly what. And I don't know how it's going now because of all the lockdown stuff happening with labs, which is such a shame. But I was also involved in one that I think was very good for my future, which was the ANU Summer Research Scholarship. So I was actually involved. So I was at the Summer Research Scholarship at the end of my third year going into honors. And I went to do the Summer Research Scholarship working, as you can see, I was very happy holding geckos. They're all dead. And the lab that I was working in during the summer is actually the lab I'm currently in, doing my PhD, not on geckos. But after my third year, I did my honors working with birds at the Melbourne Museum. So this was also under Monash. And as I graduated honors, I really enjoyed doing research, and I wanted to continue on to do my PhD, and that was the plan. But due to stuff issues like application dates and stuff like that, I couldn't start right away from my honors to my PhD. So I was unemployed for a while. And I actually almost became a teacher and went back to Indonesia. I did not want to do that. So I went back to Australia and actually worked. But I didn't work immediately. I was unemployed. And I was doing a lot of volunteering during that time, mainly with places that I've used to volunteer. So I went back to the Melbourne Museum. I volunteered there around 1 to 2 times weekly, coming in and helping out the collection. I was involved with the Jane Goodall Institute during that time. So, I was unemployed, but I had activities. So there was nothing wrong with unemployment. But from that, actually, from my volunteering activities, I actually got a job. So I actually work at the Melbourne Museum, firstly part-time and only a temporary contract for a couple of months. This actually turned into a full-time job, and the contract was extended almost a year, I think. It was a great fun. So I was a legacy registration officer working with amazing marine invertebrates, as you can see in the picture with starfish. And yeah, so after I worked for the museum, which was 2 years ago now, I actually got accepted into my PhD program at the ANU early last year. And that's sort of where I am today. That's me and my lab hanging out. And yeah, so now I'm a PhD candidate at the ANU. I am technically a second year now. And yeah, happy to take any further questions about anything in particular, volunteering or honors and graduate studies. Yeah, nice to see everyone.
Nice to hear from you as well. And I know that volunteering is a great way to gain experience. Like maybe a lot of people might see your hiring you, they see your experience and they see you don't have experiences, but actually volunteering gives much experiences, but for you guys who don't have any experience, that's also fine. You can like surprise them with a lot of your keenness about joining something. Thank you, Audrey. Now next we pass on to Tammy.
Thank you. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Thank you.
So hi, my name is Tammy. I'm from Singapore and I'm also based in Singapore right now at the moment. I graduated from Monash in the end of 2020, which is a Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences honors. And currently I'm working as a research assistant at the Lee Kong Chian School of Medicine at NTU Singapore. So just a little bit more about what I do. I'm a research assistant in the George Augustine lab at NTU, and we are basically a neuroscience lab. My lab is involved in this massive dementia research program that is happening in Singapore. And it's basically a collaborative project among between 15 to 20 research groups in Singapore. And what they're doing is that they are researching into different types of dementia in humans. Namely, the most common one like Alzheimer's, and also things like vascular dementia. So to be specific, my role here is to create a vascular model of dementia in mice. Scientifically, it's called a bilateral carotid artery stenosis. And in layman terms, basically, I would have to perform surgery on a mouse, and I would locate their main arteries which supply blood flow to the brain. And what I do with these arteries is that I will implant a metal coil to constrict the blood flow, and hopefully at the end of the surgery, the mouse develops dementia. So these are just a couple of photos that I took just to show what I'm doing. This is just me in surgical scrubs, and this is my very cute mouse right here. And this is my surgical setup whenever I'm doing surgery for this procedure. So, yeah, so my student experience in Monash has been pretty amazing. In my first 2 years, I pretty much spent it trying to figure out my own bearings in Melbourne, and I really took the leap of faith and joined activities when I first started uni in my first year and first semester. So I actually joined MUISS and got involved in a lot of activity planning. I was more heavily involved in my second year when I took up a bigger leadership position in MUISS. So I had the opportunity to meet new people and learn how to run events in the university. And some of these events are like the annual One World Festival that MUISS has, and also boat cruise, day trips, and things like that. And in my second year, my friends and I also decided to have a radio show with Radio Monash, and we called it Biologue, and essentially we talked about biology and popular science, and that's Audrey over there. So then in my third and fourth year, I decided that, I should start thinking about what I wanted to do in the future. And so I, just like Audrey, I joined the summer vacation research program that Monash offers. And I did this at the Peter MacCallum Cancer Center, where I was looking at cell growth, cancer cell growth in the fruit fly. And these are basically my stocks of fruit flies that I had when I was doing research there. And when I was done with that, I realized that I could fork out a bit more time on top of my academic coursework. And so I then did some volunteering at a worm lab at the MBDI. And these are basically Petri dishes of worms on it, even though you probably can't see anything right now. So that went on for quite some time, I think about 8 months. And it was quite interesting to learn different techniques and stuff like that. So at the end of the stint, I was really interested in research. So I decided to take up an honors year in my final year. And I was dealing with mice this time. I did this at the Australian Centre for Blood Diseases, which is at the Burnett Institute at the Alfred. And it was quite a fulfilling year because I was able to take control of my own research project and decide what I can do with it. And in this research project, we looked at how we can treat traumatic brain injury in mice. And this photo is basically one of my mice on a treadmill. And so at the end of my honors year, I kind of stayed on for a bit as a research support officer until the end of December so that I can finish up with my research. So yeah, I think that's all I have from my side. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions at the end later.
Thank you, Tammy. Also very happy to see an alumni from MUISS. And we've got last but not least, it's Anuska.
Okay, hi everyone. Again, thank you, MUISS, for having me. I'm really honored to be here. Just gonna share PowerPoint. Yep, I hope everyone can see that. Yes, cool. Yeah, so my name is Anushka Kumbada. I'm actually a recent graduate from Monash University. So I'm in Melbourne at the moment. So yeah, just a little bit about me. I did my bachelor in Japan at Waseda University, where I studied political science and economics. I started a business degree at Monash, but then I saw the teaching program at Monash, and I just was mesmerized by it. I loved it, and I was like, oh, I want to be a teacher. So I changed. So I got my Master of Teaching instead in secondary education in humanities and economics. And I actually graduated in July of this year. So my current occupation, I am a humanities and English teacher at Brentwood Secondary College. And I just recently started, so I don't have that timeline, but I'm having a lot of fun at the moment. So this is a little fun fact about myself. So I lived in 8 countries before coming to Australia. I always kind of keep a fun fact on hand whenever I'm meeting new people. I think it's just really good to have. So just for all of you out there as well, make sure, like, we're all unique. So make sure that, you know, you show your uniqueness, and that this is something that I think makes me unique. And this is a quote that I kind of live by. So if you can dream it, you can do it. It comes from Walt Disney. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next slide. So something I wanted to talk about is what some challenges that I faced as an international student. So I think when applying for jobs and things like that, I didn't have a lot of belief in myself, especially there's this kind of like glass ceiling effect where I kind of blocked myself. I was like, oh, I'm an international student. I probably won't have many job offers. I probably won't get many interviews. Before I even started, I kind of gave up because I was just like, oh, I'm an international student. You know, I'm not Australian, so it probably won't be first in line. But as soon as I gave it a go, I got a lot of interviews. I actually got a few job offers, which was really great. So kind of something that I've taken away from that is just give it a try. Just try anything. Just put yourself out there. Give things a go, because you never know what will happen. The worst someone can say to you, I guess, is no. So I kind of wish that, like, if I could go back in time, I would tell myself to, like, be more confident in my abilities and who I am. And yeah, that's kind of what I also want to tell everyone here. Another challenge that I started facing at the beginning of working was this kind of culture shock in a sense because it was full-time work, and it's kind of similar to what Helene was saying. I would try to do things by myself because I didn't want to bother other people, just because it's kind of part of my culture. But I found that teaching in schools, you really need collaboration. You really need to ask for help. So instead of kind of wasting time, I've learned that just go for it. Just ask for help wherever you can get it, because we're new. I'm new to the profession, so you know, other people they do know more. So it's really great to get that insight from others. So yeah. And this is I'm kind of I think reiterating as well what Audrey has said. Make sure that you join a lot of clubs and activities. I think you being here today, this session is really great. So when I was in Monash, so I was in Monash in 2019 and even in 2020. So both when we were in face-to-face learning and remote learning as well. And I just joined everything that I could join. Basically, I joined the board game club. They run online, and I think I was very, very consistent. So I actually joined their committee as well, which was really fun. So I took on this leadership role, and I was actually planning activities for other students. Yeah, and then I've done things inside and in uni and out of uni, like this National History Challenge. One of my professors kind of advertised it, so I decided I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to be a judge, and it related to education. So it was a really great opportunity. So do take those opportunities that are kind of given to you, or like apply for them. I think Asma was talking about the global ambassador program. I think that one seems really, really great. If I had known about it, I probably would have, joined because I've been part of the Wellbeing Ambassador program. I was an education ambassador. I was also part of the academic board, SFR. I was part of that, those grades. So yeah, just try to get yourself integrated into Monash and into society, into Australia. Also, something I did was I was part of English Connect, so I was helping teach English, and I was even part of Monash Connect, so I was employed by both of them as well. So do try to take as many opportunities as you can, because they're there for you. You just have to find it. Yeah. And yeah, so kind of I hope what you take away from this is that you can do it. I don't know if you feel the same way, but if you're an international student, even though you're an international student, you shouldn't put any barriers up for yourself. Just know that you can do it and just believe in yourself, and really try to integrate yourself into Monash University and the Monash community. Yeah, and I think that was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anushka. Also very great to see another alumni from MUISS as well. But that does not make any other alumni last grade. But definitely. And also asking questions is really great. It's something that I personally would have to learn as well, actually, because without asking questions, you're definitely lost. So talking about questions, do you guys have any questions for the alumni about any of us? You can probably directly open your mic and talk to us. We've got really great alumni here.
I do have a question.
So
this question is for Tammy. Tammy, am I right that you are a research assistant at NTU, Nanyang Technology University?
Yeah, that's
So you used to do research during your honors year at Monash in Australia, and then you went back to research in Singapore at NTU. I'm doing research at Monash as well, and I have a lot of colleagues who went from MUISS and NTU in Singapore, and they have a lot of comments and compare with the research culture between Singapore and Australia. So I wonder, did you have that kind of like feeling, kind of like research culture shock? Not like cultural shock as in like between Singapore but Australia, but particularly in research only.
Um, what do you mean, like in research only?
I mean, as in like, is there any big difference that when you did research in Monash, and then you go back to Singapore, you did research, you're doing research in Singapore, you think that, oh my God, it's so different. And then I have to get used to research again.
I mean, culturally, it is different. It's not really dependent on the country that I was in, but it was more of like the supervisor, the people in the lab as well. I'm not gonna say which lab is better or worse off, but yeah, it's definitely different, and there's a lot of adapting in each in each lab, because each lab has their own type of dynamic. You just have to, I guess, figure it out quickly and adapt to it well. In terms of the research concept is pretty much the same. Yeah. So I feel like, at least to me, it really isn't that big of a difference in terms of the science. But in terms of like social stuff, it is a bit different. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions, guys? Okay, Anna has got her hand up.
Yeah, hi, I have a question for Audrey, and thank you everyone, by the way, very helpful. Audrey, when you said that you wanted to give it a try in the industry, in science, what was it that you gave it a try and then decided to go to research, because I'm currently doing my honors degree and I'm like, should I stay in research or should I give it a try as well and go out there, to the industry?
No, that was really good. That's a really good question. And so when I tried that out in the industry, I did my placement during third year. So it was with, I don't remember what they're called now, but it was a lab, diagnostics lab. So for me, it's very repetitive, working in an industry lab. Yeah, I'm not a fan of I think it's really good when you first start. If it depends on what you enjoy from doing science. If you enjoy the wet lab stuff, you enjoy doing stuff with your hands and being in the lab. In the most industry, they have that. Like you can work in the lab your whole day, doing tests, doing everything, and it's really good when you first started out to sort of train up your technical skills. So it's a very good skill to have, like improving your lab. But it's really different from being in research lab where it's mostly about critical thinking. We're trying to look for questions we want to answer and try to figure out ways to answer that question and figure out what experiments to use. And the thing is, in industry, a lot of the answers been done for you. They have strict protocols. This is how you do things. This is the procedure to do things. You don't really have to think outside of that. In research, there's no answer yet, and that is why you're doing research. And for some people, that might be daunting, like you don't really know where you're going, but that's what I enjoy. Like I like not knowing things and then knowing things, like figuring things out after that. So yeah, I think it's good to try things out, or branch out, because it's easier to know what you don't like than knowing what you like, at least for me. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
No worries.
Great. Are there any more questions from any of you guys? It's okay to pop it up in the chat as well.
If no one else has a question, I could can I ask another one? Yeah, this question is for Tammy. On doing your honors degree outside Monash University, like with Burnett?
Oh, it was do an honors degree on the Monash campus, I would say that they are virtually the same. It's just that our curriculum was just slightly different because the Burnett has their own coursework curriculum for the honors kids there, and then we were also lumped in together with the science honors kids. Because I'm from the medicine faculty, so yeah, so I guess it wasn't that big of a difference, I would think. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Actually, I have a personal question. Okay, Matthew can go first. I can later on go.
That's okay. If you want to ask yours, just then go for it.
Wait. All right. Well, I think Anushka mentioned that you first get into Monash for business, but then decided that you want to go teaching. What made you change that direction, and what are like the things that you might probably think of if you change your direction? Like other people may think like you might not be compatible or like are able in business. Are there any things like that?
I changed my I'm not sure, like in Monash University, when I looked at the teaching program, so it was just advertised quite a lot. I didn't really think much about it, but when I was actually in Japan, I was actually a teacher, but it was like part-time. So while I was studying, so I didn't, it was really just to kind of make money at that time. But then in Australia, I kind of missed it. So I was really missing teaching. And when I was in my first year of my business degree, I really enjoyed it. I love learning. I love studying. But then I was thinking, I kind of want to do this forever. I kind of want to learn forever. And so I kind of put this love for teaching together with this love for learning. And I thought, teaching is the best way for me to continue learning about business and economics and politics, which are things that I'm really interested in. And also be able to teach basically the next generation. So I thought like I can make a difference. I felt like I could do something more impactful, which is why I changed to teaching. It was a pretty big decision, but really glad that I did it. But yeah, thank you for that question, Jessalyn.
No worries. I guess that's really your passion to be in education. I see that. Okay. Thank you, Anushka. Next to Mateo's question.
Yeah, sure. So I guess it's a question for everyone or all of you if you want to answer. So I've seen like all of you have done lots of things, like lots of experiences, volunteering. I guess my question is more like, where do you get that motivation, or like how do you have like a daily routine to join so many programs and so many experiences? Because like for me at least now, during lockdown, maybe you're in different situations in your countries, but it's still like hard to motivate yourself. So like what drives you to go up and like do all those things and just join programs? And anyone can take this question if you want.
I can start if no one wants to start yet. But I suck at networking. People always say you need to network to make, I don't know, job connections. I suck at that, but I'm pretty confident in my skills on maintaining relationships. At the very least, I know how to make friends. And I think a lot of volunteering is mostly me trying to find a friend, or not like, it's to find an excuse so you can chat with somebody and try to be friends with them. And that's the same whether it's, when I was at MUISS or when I was at the museum. And I think what motivates me more is, I really enjoyed science. I really enjoyed looking at the museum, and I want to be involved in it. And that is sort of where I get my motivation. So it's, I think it's not wrong if you want to do volunteering just for your CV. I don't think that's wrong. But at the same time, I think if you are actually passionate about the work and being able to focus on that, it's even better. And yeah, I don't know what the others have to say about that.
I kind of agree with Audrey, so kind of echoing off of that. yeah, doing extracurriculars is just fun to meet other people, even if you have to do it online. So I actually met a lot of people online and then saw them for the first time in like just a few months ago, and that was quite motivating. I was like, oh, okay, this is all paid off, me doing these things online. And then right now, yes, I have my days where I'm just kind of like, I don't really want to do things. It's really difficult. But like, for example, today something really great happened. A student told me that they loved me as a teacher and they really enjoy what I'm doing. They wish they could interact with me more in person and talk to me. And that motivated me so much. I was just like, yes, I'm making a difference in someone's life. And I want to continue doing this. So that was a big motivator. So yeah.
And to add on, I think if you're just starting out trying to get into volunteering, you don't have to join 1,001 clubs and activities and take up like 500 leadership positions, just to chalk up that in your CV, because it is quite overwhelming. And also you need to also have time for yourself. So I think during this time, this pandemic, you can think about what you are interested in, what you're passionate about. Maybe because you're just starting out, you can, maybe just take one or two commitments and just do well in both of it. And because personally, I feel I don't want to commit too much to too many positions and things like that, because I know that I won't be able to put in like my 200% into each thing. So if you're just starting out, just one or two, otherwise it might get too daunting and you probably wouldn't want to do it at all. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, guys. We've got a question in the chat. It's from Elaine. He said, I just wanted to ask a question to alumni who major in education. Are there specific visa requirements for working in Australia?
I'll answer this question. When you having your student visa, I think that's 40 hours per 2 weeks. So you can work 30 hours over the 2 weeks, and it's only limited to your study period. When you're having your holidays, which is after your exam, you can work unlimited whenever you want. So when I was within my student visa, I was working as a part-time room leader in a childcare and also a Chinese school teacher during the weekend. So it doesn't affect a lot. And I do having enough support to my financial commitments. Yes, thank you.
I'm so sorry. I should have phrased the question more specifically. I mean, are there, as an international, like as someone from another country wanting to work in Australia, like to get a job in Australia after graduation, are there any specific visa requirements or things that we can do to make it easier to be employed?
I think there's a visa code 485. It's for the working visa that you have 1.5 years over that period, and you can work unlimited during that time. And when I had that visa, it doesn't affect me to going to interview. They didn't ask you for, are you a permanent resident? They just looking at your capabilities. They don't really ask you about your visa things. Yeah, I think that will do. For once you graduate, you can straight away get it. I think normally the student visa finish at end of March, and you will get a bridging visa before you get in the working visa. My situation was like this. So during the waiting period, when you get in your bridging visa, you still can work unlimited, and it doesn't affect how you looking for your job and those sort of things. Hope it helps.
Oh yeah, also just to kind of echo off what Helene said. I just got my TR visa and I got it for 2 years. I don't know if it's changed now, but yeah, I'm able to work unlimited for 2 years. And same thing as what Helene said. They don't ask you about your visa stuff in an interview, so it's really nice.
Thank you so much, guys. We have another question in the chat. It's from Bernice. It's for Helene. How hard was it to pass the IELTS requirement for registration after taking the course at Monash? Were there any students who couldn't get the 7788 scores? Was it hard for most graduates to find a job as an early childhood teacher at Melbourne? Like how long it took for most students?
Yeah, if you're having your Bachelor of Education in Monash, you don't need to get any IELTS or English tests. You can straight away get the registration and start to teaching. But if you will study your degree as a master, you will need to get a English test, but it doesn't have to be the IELTS. It could be there is an internal teacher language test from VIT that you can straight away get from them. They says it will be easier compared to the IELTS, so you could try that. And for looking for a job, it's not hard. For me, it's not hard at all because it's very big shortage of early childhood teacher, and currently Victoria is putting a lot of investment on 3-year kinder programs. So there'll be both 3-year kinder program and 4 years old, and a lot of big profit or not-for-profit center. They are trying to put all the bachelor degree in every room. So there will be a lot of available employment opportunity for us actually. So when I had my interviews, I would say 95% I got the job offer, and I get to choose which one I would like to go. So be confident, there won't be big problems for you. Thank you.
Also, another follow-up question from Bernice. Do you find Monash's course practically enough to prepare you for the job as an early childhood teacher? Were courses mostly theoretical except for the placement course?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. I will say half-half. There's both theoretical parts, a lot as well, and there's also a lot of practical units. I remember there's a lot of unit asking us to do curriculum plan, lesson plan, and also during the placement, we are requiring to do a range of sequence lessons that I think those things are very prepared us, even though you do need some theoretical supports with your assignments, even though you're doing those lesson plans in your assignments, but I will say that's practical enough for me. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Bernice, and thank you for everyone who has helped answer it. Are there any other questions, guys? All right. We've got actually a little bit of time. Maybe I want to ask a question. For a lot of you guys have a lot of experiences and also either finding a job or even finding stuff to volunteer, but then you might also have stuff that you're rejected in. How do you actually handle failure? Maybe it's not quite related to any of the faculties, but it's life lesson. Maybe some of you can answer that. Thank you so much.
I mean, if no one's starting, you just, I want to say you just accept it, but you should be sad first. And I go through this through every rejection. Like even now, if I get feedback from my supervisor, I know it's not personal. They want it to be better, but I feel like you need to take time to accept the rejection or feedback or whatever it is. Like I feel like going into it sort of, I can do better is good, but I feel like you need to sort of soak it in, feel it in your bones, and it's okay to feel sad and cry and eat a tub of ice cream, because I do that. And it's normal because everyone goes through it. And talking about it out loud to others really help. And that's what I find. Like, if you're struggling and say, and you'll go through this. When I was unemployed for quite a period of time after my graduation, and I like to talk about it as if it was nothing, but I was perpetually stressed at that time. And it's fine. Being unemployed is fine. You're trying your best. And even if you're tired, and it's especially now in the pandemic, it's going to be really hard to get yourself motivated to do things. So it's fine for you to take a break and, be with you and just take care of yourself, binge a lot of Netflix, eat a lot of ice cream, take time for yourself, and then you plan whatever strategy you have going forward to try and recover from that. I think is the best that I can say, really. But yeah, talk about it to other people and normalize failure. It's more often you get failures than successes. So we have to talk about it more often.
Thank you, Audrey, for mentioning that acceptance is a huge process and it might take time, but one more thing that I want to highlight is having that feedback is important too. If you apply for a job or any positions, and if you didn't hear back from them, email them, call them, follow up with them. So at least it shows that you are participated and then you're active to hear about their feedbacks, and they do value those steps and appreciate those actions too. So it doesn't go to the vain. If the jobs is available in the future, they will contact you and then you will be the first person, but you need to act first when it comes to those things.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Asma, especially if you go through the interview stage. Make sure you ask, is there anything I can do to be better? Or, thank you for the opportunity. Ask for feedback. Even if you work part-time or even if you're just volunteering, ask for feedback from your supervisor. Don't be afraid to chat about things with them.
Exactly, Andre. Those are like a star questions when you ask about the employment. How can I improve? How can I be evaluated in my positions? And those things will just make you shine in those positions.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. It was really nice to talk to you all with your great presentations and all of the insights. And if there are no more questions, maybe that's a wrap for the event today. It's really great. Yep.
I just want to quickly update you guys that this one is the 4th session of our series Alumni Night. We have 5 nights in total, and the last 3 nights on engineering IT, MNHS, and pharmaceutical science and pharmacy. And we did have arts and faculty of law last week. So all of those 3 sessions were recorded, similar to this session. And all of the recordings will be put on our Facebook page, MUISS Monash University International Student Service. Type that in on Facebook, and you will find the recordings. We will put all the recordings up on as soon as possible, and possibly advertise it on our Instagram as well. So please follow our Facebook and Instagram and stay tuned. We will have one more session on 21st of September. That would be for Faculty of Business and Economics. So I hope that if you guys are interested, feel free to hop in, and that would be our last session for our Alumni Night series as well. So possibly we will do something special to wrap up this series. So once again, thank you so much. Good night, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you are in this world.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.